morning. Okay, so thanks to ELPA for inviting us to present on World Hepatitis Day. As Martin explained, this is going to be a very short presentation because probably most of you already got the information, but this is an opportunity for you to ask questions if you have any queries about the campaign, the feasibilities, logistics, etc. Just interrupt me at any time. But I'm just going to very quickly run through what we are planning for this year. So I'm going to jump a slide, which was about last year, really, and then just, I think, start with what we want to achieve this year. Obviously, we still have the mission of targeting the general public, the healthcare professionals, and the media. And the theme that we're going to go with is Know It, Confront It. This is hepatitis. And we're going to play with the three wise monkeys gestures, the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And yesterday, at some of the presentations, you saw some of those posters. We're very happy to see them, that you're actually using them. This was very useful and very successful last year. A lot of people said that they really liked what these gestures mean about the ignorance and the fact that people are ignoring hepatitis, and we need to make a stop. We need to take a stop. So this is going to be the theme for this year's campaigns. So we've developed a range of posters for you using this concept, the three wise monkeys concept. And this is an example of some of the posters that are going to be featuring in the website that you can download yourselves. And actually, we still have that customizable tool in our website. We are just revamping it. As of May, you'll be able, it's going to be a new tool, much easier to use, and you can basically use any of our images and add your logo and add your own messages that are relevant to your own countries and make it really yours. These are some of other posters for this year. As you can see, still playing on the this is hepatitis, know it, confront it, and the see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil gestures. And here's another element that we chose to feature in this year's campaign as well, with the Know It, Confront It, with the sense of we wanted to use children to show that time is running out, and also because they do obviously from experience, children work. You show children and show images of cute babies, and all of a sudden you start attracting attention from a lot of bodies, especially the international and supranational ones. So we thought, let's take advantage of this and let's find an angle that will work for our message. So we chose that time is running out, let's act now and protect the new generation. Alright, so about the campaigns. As you know, we have these three little guys over there, and you can find them in our booth as well. Actually, I've been just told this morning that Hillary, who's manning our World Hepatitis Alliance group, has been fighting with a lot of people that have been taking the monkeys away from her. But we have them there, and we have some for you as well. But what's this monkeys campaign? If you're not aware about it, we have those monkey sets that we're sending to all of our members free of charge. And what we want to do is just create that global, that feeling that everybody's together and participating and want to do something really cool. So what we're asking you to do is just take these monkeys on a trip around the world and photograph them. And photograph them against the Eiffel Tower, the Little Christ, and all the landmarks in your country. And we are putting all of these images in a map, and you can see them, just hover over that, and you can see all the pictures that are being introduced. And just to have that feeling that a lot of people are participating, it's a world movement. This campaign actually has two sides to it. The first side is the one that I just explained. We send the little guys to you and you take pictures of them. And the other side is that you can do it yourselves. So take pictures of yourselves doing the three gestures, like that lady over there, or that guy. And that's a different gallery just with people. And in fact, if you do it during ESO and send a picture of yourself doing this in a fun way, you get a chance to win a Kindle Fire. So we're giving a Kindle Fire for the best see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, tweet. Here's another thing about the monkeys. In order to make it even more fun, we are actually customizing them with t-shirts. You can put the logo of your organization. If you haven't received yours yet, we are doing that for you. The World Hepatitis Day logo in your language, and we're just making sure that it's very personalized and you can have that feel to it. These are some of the pictures that have already been sent by some of our members. And that one day WHO, I don't think I was allowed to do that, but I just went in to the picture anyway. So let's say they're supporting. Again, a reminder that we're giving out a King of Fire for the best tweet. And just before I move on, Hillary was asking me that if Polo Patos from Croatia and the from Bosnia could go to our booth. She has monkeys for you waiting right there. Right. The next element of the campaign, still keeping that different tone and a more fun tone to it, is the Guinness World Record. So last year, we set this record. We had immense participation from everybody. It was very successful. We're very pleased with that. The record was the most people performing See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and Speak No Evil in 24 hours. We targeted 50 locations and at least 8 new countries. Oh, actually, that's for 2013. But last year was a success. We see Charles shaking the hand of the Guinness man over there. We have the certificate, and we have to thank you for taking part in this initiative. It's not difficult to take part. We think it's a very good opportunity to get involved with your community and get people together. You just need to perform the 3 Hear No Evil, See No Evil, and Speak No Evil gesture and take that picture and send it to us. So we really encourage you to participate. We're also doing an SMS campaign this year, but this is targeting a little bit more the African countries, because we've heard that from the experience of last year as well, that's the best way to reach the general population there. The reason I'm saying that to you is that we already have some good experience with this now. So if you would want to do something in your countries with SMS, we may be able to help you and tell you how we did it last year with the countries in Africa, in terms of approaching the network operators and starting that dialogue. Obviously, we always produce toolkits, so we have a World Hepatitis toolkits full of ideas for suggestions about events that happened in the past that you may want to, if you're not feeling creative, you woke up and thinking, oh, what can I do? So you have from very simple events, distributing leaflets, to bigger events and creating maybe a press conference, etc. So you have good examples in there. You have a working with the media toolkit, organizing events, online and social media, but I'll leave that for Seb because he's here and later he's going to be talking about social media to you, so he's going to be a walking and talking toolkit, so that's going to be more fun. We have working with businesses, maybe finding some support, some local support for you. For instance, not only relying on, obviously I understand, and we rely on pharmaceutical companies, but as an example, for the monkeys, we got support from the mail. So we asked them, we have to be sending a lot of monkeys out, would you like to support this campaign? So maybe you can talk to some printers or so other businesses that may be willing to help you, and you get these things for free, so just an idea. And obviously reaching audiences through SMS. So these are the main focuses of our campaign. And this is my last slide, really. As I said, this is going to be a very, very short presentation. And just saying why we're doing the Know and Confront It. We really believe that this is really a good campaign, bold campaign. And we are trying, as you can see, while we stick with the messaging of this is a very serious disease and serious issue, we are trying to do more fun things, to try also to grab other people, so the general public. What we want is people to recognize the cause and want to be part of the cause. Because so up to date, up to today, we would say that there's a lot of interest, but a lot of interest coming from patient groups, of hepatologists, so people that are already interested in hepatitis. What we want to do is break the niche, expand that, and get the general public talking about it. And obviously, reduce stigma, create awareness, etc. So this is where I kind of ask you all to, if that's okay with you, Marty, to do the 3 wise monkeys gestures, because maybe it would be nice to have a picture of the ELPA team doing it, and we can put it up. Or do you think this is too prescriptive, and everybody, maybe I should give the ladies the chance to put some lipstick on maybe first? Yeah, and we can put that later, I don't mind, but it would be very nice to get ELPA and the ELPA members doing it, and we can put it up.
It's a very good idea, and I wanted to invite everyone to spend 5 more minutes after the end of the meeting. We're going to stand in front of here, and you can do the monkeys, you can do something else, you can monkey around as much as you can, and we'll make a group photo which we can put on the website, because we have all of the new members, and I would like to have all of you on our website smiling and monkeying. I want to show to the world that we are united, that there are many of us, and that we're still having fun while working. So if you don't mind, and if you have the time, if you're not asleep and starving, we can spend 5 minutes to take a shot. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be great, yeah. Because I think it would be very good if you go behind this. But any questions about the campaign at all? About the monkeys, about logistics, about the Guinness World Record?
About the Kindle Fire?
About the Kindle Fire. You know, I can get you too. 10 euros. Anyone wants to buy my opinion. No questions?
I have a question. So you said that the toolkit will be available on the World Hepatitis Alliance website. So each and every country would be able to just adapt in their own language slogan. Is this how it works?
All right. So as of next month, oh, actually we're in the end of April. So next week's the customizable tool is there. So you'll be able to get all the posters will be there, and you can actually just put your logo, add your logo to the poster, add a message in your own language, and just create whatever you want. What we want, we don't want just to send you posters and say you have to use them. What we want to do is to offer you the images. You might actually say, look, that baby doesn't look like a Romanian baby, or Bulgarian baby, or it doesn't look Asian. I want a baby that represents my country. So you may want to choose the images as well. So this is for you to adapt and make sure that it's relevant to your country. And in the next week, you'll be able to do that. Just access our website. You have all the materials, all the logos, everything in there for you.
That would be next week?
End of next week, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to be sending you all a note to say that the website is live. It should be very, very soon.
Hi, Christina from ELPA. Question from Manuela. Considering that this year it will be on a Sunday, the 28th, is it okay to maybe do, if for this reason there are some problems in a specific country, to do it 1, 2, 3 days ahead or behind? So is there a flexibility from this point of view? Or?
For the Guinness, not so much. Unfortunately, they're very strict. But for your own events, why not? If you think, for instance, I was talking to WHO, and because it's on a Sunday, they think that if they're going to attract more media, they need to do a media statement or issue a media statement 2 days before. So they're thinking about doing something on the Thursday or Friday. So that's absolutely fine. But if you want to participate on the Guinness, unfortunately they have that 24-hour rule, like last year. Otherwise, because they want all the countries doing it within the 24-hour. But we're going to send you more information about it. But if you really, really cannot do it, look, there's no way. We still really welcome you to do it. And get the community involved and send the pictures to us. And we're going to put your pictures up. It's not going to count towards the Guinness achievement, but we still encourage you to do it because it's a fun activity and people like doing that. So why not?
Any more questions?
Everybody's ready for World Hepatitis Day?
Well, So we understood that everyone can use all the posters, and we can translate them into all the languages. We can use all the images that we want to, and we encourage you to brand all of your activities. If you have roundtables, if you have screenings, we'll talk about this a little bit later when we come to what is going on in some of the countries that ELPA is helping to organize some events in several countries in Europe. We encourage all of our members to use the posters. If you're planning some screenings for the WHD, if you're using mobile units, you can use the posters to brand the units. So you use like a poster for your organization, of course, and then you'll slap one of the WHA with the monkeys or with the babies or baby monkeys, whatever you want to. Then if you have a roundtable event, it would be great also to feature the poster somewhere behind. If you have media covering the event, if the media catches the posters, then you will have more weight, as part of an international organization. The Guinness World Record, yes, will be on the 28th, but if you want to make your events, like Raquel said, you can make them in different days, because this year, unfortunately, the 28th is on a Sunday, which is a slight hindrance, in terms of getting the media attention. And I know that many of the countries are making their events, the policy roundtables or anything else, before the 28th or after the 28th. So do the best that you can in your own environment, but if you want to get on board with the See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Do No Evil, and there's also Do No Evil, actually, there's a fourth monkey. I've read about a fourth monkey which has Do No Evil, and it's the sign for the monkey is a monkey with its hands tied.
Oh, there you go then.
But then
you need to get on to the healer and get her to do another monkey. Then.
Well, maybe we can do the fourth monkey next year. But for this year, you can use the three monkeys, and you can be the fourth monkey, which actually does everything. So, do you have any final questions, thoughts, comments, ideas? No?
I think everybody's ready to go over classes today. If you have any questions anyway, just send it to us and contact us. We're more than happy to help, and we're happy to send you the three guys over there. So just contact us or go to our booth
and don't steal them.
And yeah. But thank you everybody. I think what I'll do now is just pass the word to Seb, who will be initiating a workshop about social media, and he will be able to tell you a little bit more about Twitter and Facebook and give you some ideas of how to use those tools in your organizations to generate media, to get people to support your campaign, etc. I think that's it for me now.
Let's wrap up. I also want to add to this that after Seb's presentations and his workshop, we're going to have a short presentation from DPF. But I want to make sure that, today we'll try to wrap up till about 4 o'clock, 4:30 at max. Is everyone okay with this? Sure? You say sure? Okay, so we speak for everyone because you're at the front. Everyone's happy. So, Seb, you're welcome.
Thank you everybody for your time today. My name's Seb. I come from an agency, a communications agency in the UK called Red Door Communications. We're based in London. And we've been lucky enough to work with Raquel on the World Hepatitis Alliance team for the last 2 years. So we've been integral to implementing the communications plan you've just seen. And today I've been invited on to come give some training in this workshop for the session today. And what the focus of this is intended to be is largely looking at digital and social media communications that we can implement and use as a bit of a best practice. For the basis of the training and the workshop, we've actually used the template of the Digital Academy, and that is actually an accredited training course in the UK that's accredited by the Institute of Digital Marketing. So it's an important training session. Hopefully it's going to be thought-provoking, and the really, really important thing is that we have lots of discussion and feedback, and this is meant to be a collaborative experience, so hopefully it's going to cause create a lot of discussion throughout the presentation. In terms of the session right now, we've just got the immediate topics here, which really go through multi-channel marketing, So this is something that a lot of consumer brands have adopted with quite a lot of impetus and gusto over the last few years, and just look at some of the principles behind multi-channel marketing and how we can implement those in the campaigns that we all have. Search engine marketing, so with the dominance of Google, making sure that we've got websites and web materials that are particularly prominent, and how do we do that? So this for me is a really, really important area in terms of the next stage of communications, making sure that we're optimised, making sure that we've got a good presence within search engines. So this should be quite an important session. Following that, we'll go to social media and then analytics. So very, very importantly, that we need to measure and analyse all of the activities that we do to make sure we've got a return on investment. So the analytics chapter looks at that. And then finally, we touch on traditional media. So although that's within the training course, the focus is going to be across the digital and social media communications platforms. As Martin mentioned this afternoon, we've got a brief workshop before then moving on to some of the other presentations. So starting with multi-channel marketing, just a bit of blue sky thinking. Who can shout out just some of the channels that they've operated in or had read or seen this morning before this session? Who's been receptive to messages across different platforms? Can anybody start shouting out different channels or platforms that they've been receptive to?
Facebook.
Social, good. Anyone else? Newspapers? TV? Radio? Email? This is just to start to encapsulate what actually a channel is. So clearly a communications platform like email we're on every day. This is going to be the year where more content is accessed, or more email content is accessed by mobile and desktop. So it's just to start to think that we're constantly receptive to these messages in terms of the experience of being in this congress, and that in itself is a channel with which we can operate our marketing messages and our communications messages that we work with. So that's just to start to build context of what actually we mean by channel. In terms of what multi-channel means, the very essence, the brilliant basics of the definition, it simply is the fact that we've got a single campaign message that goes out across two or more channels or platforms. So if you think about a single campaign message that maybe goes out via email or a direct mail or a website, then that's three channels that we've got a single campaign message going out across. So by the very virtue of that, we've got a multi-channel campaign. What that's evolved from is a more old school thinking, which is that you have a specific campaign go out via email, you have a very different campaign go out via a website, you have a very different campaign go out via mobile. So this is to say that we've got one single campaign message that sings across all of the different platforms that we're operating in. And really, we'll come on to it in a minute, but the real impetus for a multi-channel approach is that it gives us a massive return on investment, because instead of creating assets and creating materials that are specific to one channel, we can really repurpose those assets and materials so that they can go across all platforms, and therefore we can reach a much wider audience as a result of that. So that's the sort of essence of the approach that we're looking at today. Some of the backdrop to that, so our audience has changed and very, very rapidly. This is just some research by Exact Target, who is a future trends focus group across Europe, but particularly focused in the UK. And as you can see, back in 2010, the average consumer, the average patient, the average person looking at information online required 5.3 sources of information before they would come to an opinion, before they would declare themselves to have been raised awareness, before they make a purchasing decision. 2 years later, that's almost doubled to 10.4 sources of information before they've reached that same point. Does anybody have any ideas before I sort of reveal the answers to why that is? And it's an exceptionally simple answer. Feel free to shout out.
May I ask something?
Sorry?
May I ask something?
Sure.
I mean, this could be interpreted in two ways,
Sure.
of course. Because it's not sure that 10.4% have a righter answer or a better answer than the first. It can be both ways. I mean, it can be that you see a lot and therefore decide later.
Yes.
With more knowledge. But it can also be that the knowledge you have is more split or more confusing or more. I mean, what can we do with these figures? How do you interpret them?
Well, this has been done through research of looking at people's behaviour, predominantly online, so there's an online bias. but it looks at the sort of numbers of websites, the numbers of sources of information that they've actually gone to before they've actually reached a decision or opinion, or even proceeded to make a purchase from a sort of brand's perspective. But what the essence of the point is that actually people now have so much more data, so much more information at their fingertips. So we look at the prevalence of the smartphone that's been disseminated. Everybody's now on iPhone 5 or iPhone 4, iPhone 3 has largely dropped off. We've got this wealth of data. We're absolutely, sinking in a sea of data. And what that really shows is that the multi-channel approach is absolutely vital, because the more channels that we can have that touch the 10.4 sources of information that people now tend to see and be receptive to before they make a decision, the more likely we are to actually influence them in the content that we're trying to put across. So gone are the days where we can rely on one single campaign message going out across one channel, because patients, consumers, our audiences are looking at a vast array of different channels before they actually have the sort of gusto to actually have that opinion and that informed opinion.
But if it goes on, it could be that nobody can ever take a decision. Because if it goes on and on and on, if we continue that line, at the end it would take you 2 years to make a decision. Before that you're done.
Yeah, I mean, that's also to do with the immediacy of the technology. So, because we're operating or increasingly operating on 4G or 3G, you can very, very quickly look at multiple sources of information, and things like social media are very important. So you think about a website like TripAdvisor, where you've got lots of comments about, hotels, travel, destinations, etc. That it really reaffirms your opinion. So you're not just going to look at a hotel website, you're going to check them out on TripAdvisor as well before you make that decision. So if you've got information, if you've got influencers who might be advocates who are feeding back positively on TripAdvisor whilst you've got your advertising content, then that's a real strong multi-channel approach, which is kind of the point behind the sort of chapter of information. The media revolution, just to add a little bit more, if we've got a question.
Yes, I have a question.
You have to realize that not everybody speaks English very fluently, so maybe you can slow down.
Sure.
Thank you. It's a good comment. Good comment. And maybe...
Where do you come from?
Maybe again I have to remind everyone that if you have troubles understanding anything, what's 2G, 3G, multi-channel, one channel, blah, 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 just please raise your hand.
Absolutely. The next series of slides really show the proliferation of the different channels over the last couple of decades. So looking back at 1990, we had some very traditional means of communications. We had TV, radio, print and display advertising, so we're all very familiar with those channels. Moving ahead to 1999, we see the invention of the internet. So with that comes all of the website search and display, paid search, landing pages, websites, microsites, online advertising, webinars, etc. So that's the evolution in just a space of 9 years. And looking further at 2012, we've really seen the invention of the Web 3.0, which essentially means the social web. So it's not just about putting information online that's content that you're broadcasting your message to, you're actively seeking engagement with your community, so that they're part of the whole community, they're part of the marketing, they're part of the messaging that you're trying to put across. So that's just to highlight the proliferation of all of the different channels that we now have to be aware of if we're going to be effective communicators within our countries and for the organisations that we represent. This is just an example of a multi-channel marketing campaign. So you can see that you would have a single essence, a single message, which goes out across all of the different platforms that you see here. So you might have a TV advertisement that you put up, you might then display that as web ads. You might have a website that you drive traffic to, and therefore you can actively engage with people and capture them and start to evaluate how many people are coming through to your website. You might have a direct mail campaign that supports that, email, videos, etc. So it's just to highlight that we have so many channels within our communications mix now that we have to be on top of in terms of what we can achieve, what we can monitor, and what we can evaluate.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you go back? I see here 12 channels.
Yeah.
Can you guys raise your hand and say how many channels you're using in your country, maybe?
With hands, if we have more than 2 channels?
Yes, one finger per channel, so raise 12 fingers if anyone is